very dangerous because if Anthony Joshua hits him on the chin, he will put him to sleep.
Utter madness that he would run the risk of absolutely jeopardizing his life, because he's not a big heavyweight. He's a small heavyweight. He's 5 inches smaller than Joshua.
This is a real fight. It should be over in 90 seconds because Anthony Joshua is a legit gold medalist, super heavyweight, crazy athlete, awesome power, and Jake Paul just isn't on that level in any way. He's not he's on.
Veteran boxing professionals are issuing strong warnings that Jake Paul is stepping into extremely dangerous territory by agreeing to face Anthony Joshua. They stress that Joshua's knockout power is on an entirely different level, one Jake has never even come close to experiencing in his career. Many experts believe this matchup crosses the limits of what should be allowed for safety, suggesting that a single clean shot from Joshua could end the fight brutally. Gareth A. Davies also voices concern, arguing that given the circumstances and the massive weight difference, allowing a full-intensity fight between them feels irresponsible.
There is a danger in this fight. The odds are Joshua's 1-12, obviously. Jake Paul is 6-1. Yeah. To win this fight in a 2-horse race in which this is a guy who lost to Tommy Fury, Tyson Fury's brother, in an 8-round fight, who, for me, I wrote that it would damage his legacy a week ago. It will damage his legacy for several reasons. If the Deontay Wilder fight never emerges, which it looks like it isn't, I've been calling for that fight for ages. If those two got in a ring together, it's still a massive fight. It's a dangerous fight to sanction, in my view. It sets the wrong precedent. It is 10-ounce gloves, it is a boxing match, it's not an exhibition. This isn't a 58-year-old Mike Tyson. This is one of the most dangerous finishers in the world, who is probably 5 levels above Jake Paul and a weight division above him. I think it's irresponsible to let those two in a ring together in a proper boxing match. That's my view. It doesn't damage his bank balance, but if he earns...
Barry McGuigan's explosive criticism reflects the fear many seasoned boxing figures feel when they picture Jake Paul standing across the ring from Anthony Joshua. Having spent decades around true heavy hitters, McGuigan understands how dramatically everything changes once a real heavyweight punch lands. He argues that Jake is walking into something far beyond entertainment, beyond influence, and beyond anything athletic confidence can protect him from. Joshua's power isn't theoretical, it's proven against fighters much larger, stronger, and more experienced than Jake. McGuigan emphasizes that Jake remains, at best, a light heavyweight and has never faced anyone with a natural heavyweight's mass, reach, and destructive punching ability.
Some people are saying, you know, AJ's grabbing the bag, there's nothing wrong with that, because anybody else, if they got offered that kind of money, they would do it. So, yep. And some people are suggesting it might damage his legacy. Where do you sit with the decision of him taking that fight? And it's a professional 8-round fight as well.
Yes, it's a highly dangerous fight for Jake Paul. I don't know what he's doing, unless they have done some sort of caveat or some sort of agreement that he says he's going to go easy on him, or he's not going to go flat out. But you know, I've been tossing this up and down in my mind and trying to figure how and under God, when he had agreed to fight someone like Tank Davis, who is, you know, several divisions below him, that's more like what Jake Paul does, and then he goes from there to fighting Anthony Joshua. I mean, just look at what happened to Francis Ngannou, who's a big, athletic, tough guy and had gone 12 rounds with Tyson Fury and given him a real ding-dong. And then he gets absolutely obliterated in a round and a half against Joshua. That shows you, despite the fact that he's been knocked out since by Daniel Dubois, who could knock out anybody, by the way, in any weight division or in any era of the heavyweight division. He's such a powerful guy, he could knock anybody out if he hits them properly. But you know, it just seems utter madness. And
From McGuigan's perspective, Jake isn't entering a competitive matchup, he's stepping into a collision course with a fighter engineered to dismantle world-class heavyweights. The size difference is only one layer of danger. Joshua's timing, punch selection, and explosive short-range power, uppercuts, hooks, and counters are elements Jake has never even trained against. McGuigan's frustration comes from seeing people treat this fight casually, as if Jake's confidence or social media presence somehow makes the ring safer. To him, this fight is not hype, it is a demonstration of how vulnerable a smaller fighter can be when facing a true heavyweight force.
of some kind where he says, I won't go hard on him, or I'll go easy, or I'll spar with him for 8 rounds, because it's just so ridiculous. I mean, if Joshua hits him properly, he'll knock him unconscious, and if he knocks him unconscious and he gets a bleed in his brain and he ends up with a subdural hematoma and goes to hospital and is in dire straits, where does that leave boxing? That puts us in a very, very awkward spot. So it's hard not to believe that they've got some sort of caveat, some sort of agreement whereby, I mean, most heavyweights box with 10-ounce gloves, or sometimes.
Dave Allen shifts the focus from hype to reality by examining Jake Paul's past matchmaking patterns. He points out that Jake's fights have historically been controlled environments, opponents were carefully selected, risks were moderated, and both sides walked away safe and well paid. But Allen insists this situation is entirely different. Anthony Joshua is not a celebrity guest, not a retired fighter, and not a cruiserweight stepping in for entertainment. He is an active heavyweight, a former unified champion with knockout wins over elite fighters, and someone who finishes fights with ruthless efficiency. Allen warns that if Joshua decides to fight even at half the intensity he uses against top-tier opponents, Jake's previous experiences will not prepare him for the damage. The real danger is not just a knockout, it's the impact of a heavyweight punch on a body that has never absorbed anything close to that power. Sparring heavyweights, Allen explains, is nothing like the live threat of a real fight where punches are thrown with full commitment and zero hesitation.
He could have beat Tommy. Could he win the area lightweight title? I'm not sure. Don't know who the champion is. If I had a look, I could tell you, I'm not sure. But then boxers made Diaz. So he's boxed 1 boxer so far, if we keep in count, and he's beat none. Then he boxes Andre August, who I believe was a pro, and this is now at 14-3, so he's now actually a cruiserweight. Andre August, I'm not sure. Ryan Borland, 17-2. Again, I'm not sure. Well, fair play, he's beat 2 boxers there. Beat 2 boxers, what can I say? He then fights Mike Perry, who is an MMA fighter, bare knuckle boxer, he's not a glove boxer. He then fights Mike Tyson, which was an exhibition, weren't it really, for all intents and purposes. Now the big jump here is in 4 months, he's put on 2 stone. So he's put on 2 stone in 4 months. He then boxed Julio Cesar Chavez and he's now lost 2 stone, he's back down at 14-3, and he beat Chavez, who is a boxer, who has been shot to bits for the last 10 years. So, as far as Jake Paul goes, I don't mind Jake Paul. I don't really know what he does or what he is and what he's achieved in boxing. I would say fair play. I'd say, you know what, mate, why not? I don't blame him. And the money he's made, amazing, buzzing. People want to watch him box, great. So he started off boxing, I think a YouTuber or 2, basketball player maybe, was he? Some MMA fighters, and he weren't in Garnu, weren't Cyril Gann, weren't Big Man who can box. He was boxing welterweights, middleweights, max, way past the best. But that's also fine because it's an entertainment game and it's okay, that's fine. Loses to Tommy, fights a few pro boxers, then fights Mike Tyson, which was a professional contest. Well, for all intents and purposes, a bit of an exhibition because, to be fair to Jake Paul, he could have fought Mike Tyson at any time. People say Mike Tyson held him up, he held back. If anyone was holding back,
Some analysts highlight that the danger doesn't rest solely on Jake Paul. Anthony Joshua also carries significant reputational risk. They argue that if Joshua wins but fails to dominate convincingly, critics may twist the narrative into something negative. For a fighter of Joshua's status, victories are expected to be decisive. Even one clean punch from Jake could become viral ammunition for critics claiming Joshua is slowing down or losing sharpness. If the fight turns messy or unexpectedly competitive, it could lead to embarrassment for Joshua and spark public doubt about his abilities. The unpredictable nature of boxing means even a lucky shot from Jake could overshadow Joshua's legacy. Experts believe this matchup traps Joshua in a high-pressure situation with minimal reward and enormous image-based risk.
Joshua is because even if Joshua wins this fight, it has to be perfect. There cannot be a moment of hesitation from Anthony Joshua. He can't look mentally shot. He can't take a punch, really. If he takes a big punch from Jake Paul, if he gets hurt in any way by Jake Paul, if he doesn't absolutely ice Jake Paul within a few rounds of this 8-round scheduled bout, well then it really affects his credibility. All the things that have ever been said about him, he's a hype job, he's been coddled. He didn't really want to fight Deontay Wilder when they were both in their prime. He's just a big bodybuilder, as Tyson Fury loves to put it. Anyone who's ever doubted him will have absolute ability to do so. And so the fact that this is actually a sanctioned fight, it tells me that Anthony Joshua cannot be going in there, or will not go in there and try to carry Jake Paul. Otherwise, it might as well just be an exhibition. If he does go in there and carry Jake Paul, my fear for him is that most people will not be aware that that's what he's doing. Reputationally, it would just cause serious damage. And like I say, I think the only way he comes out of this unscathed, reputationally, is by going in there and securing a clean knockout. Anthony Joshua can't do anything to boost how people view him as a boxer in this fight. All it can do is damage him, unless he's punch perfect. He's fighting someone who realistically has nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain. And that in itself can be dangerous, it can be risky. And given that Jake Paul has achieved so little, given that Anthony Joshua wants to remain relevant and credible, so it seems, because he has a couple of potentially big fights left, especially against Tyson Fury, why is he doing this? He doesn't want to jeopardize that, surely. Well, I can tell you exactly how I think he has rationalized this in his mind. The first thing is that he's going to get paid an absolute shed load of money. Around 50 million is what we're hearing. I've heard 50 million pounds, 50 million USD, but whatever happens, it's a significant amount of cash. Possibly one of his, will be one of his highest ever career paydays, possibly similar to what he'd make for a Tyson Fury fight. But for what? Like 1% of the risk? I don't know. I don't know how to put it in numeric.
Chris Algieri analyzes the matchup based on Joshua's historical consistency. Throughout his career, Joshua has performed exactly as expected depending on his opponent's level, devastating early finishes when predicted and controlled tactical wins when required. Algieri argues that this is precisely why so many believe Joshua could stop Jake Paul in under 2 minutes if he chooses to press forward aggressively. From this standpoint, anything less than a rapid finish would spark questions about the legitimacy of the event.
His reputation as an elite heavyweight. Do you understand the analogy I'm getting to, Chris?
Yeah, and I agree. And but listen, Joshua's done this already. He fought a guy that he was supposed to destroy,
right?
And then he went out there and he destroyed him. And he didn't play with his food. Yep. He didn't say, okay, it was Ngannou I'm talking about, obviously.
Of course.
Who gave Tyson Fury fits and really had everyone questioning Tyson Fury's ability because he struggled with an MMA fighter in his pro boxing debut. Anthony Joshua didn't do that. He went out there and did what we all expected Tyson Fury to do, and completely wiped the floor with the guy. And if Joshua doesn't do that this fight, I agree with you, Jimmy. It's going to hurt his stock. It's going to hurt the way that people perceive him moving forward. And also, I think, honestly, and if he doesn't go out there and just lay into Jake Paul and end it in the first, if not second round, to me, it's gonna look fishy to me. It's gonna look like this was a setup, this was an exhibition, this wasn't a real fight. If this is a real fight, it should be over in 90 seconds because Anthony Joshua is a legit gold medalist, super heavyweight, crazy athlete, awesome power, and Jake Paul just isn't on that level in any way. He's not in.
Algieri further warns that if Joshua does not dominate immediately, many viewers will suspect external factors such as business interests or promotional influence shaping the pace of the fight. This suspicion exists because the skill gap is enormous, a lifelong heavyweight champion versus a man with only a handful of professional fights. Joshua's superior mechanics, footwork, and ability to create openings make him a nightmare matchup for any non-heavyweight. Therefore, if the fight extends beyond expectations, some will inevitably accuse the bout of being orchestrated, putting Joshua's performance under intense scrutiny.
Paul saying that we're running away from you. We're not, mate, not running from you. You know, we offered to box you right next door to you, Canada. Canada. Anywhere in Canada, because we can't get to America, and you knew we couldn't get there. Offering 15 million. Stand on to your offer. For 15 million, we'll box you anywhere in the world, but I know it ain't gonna happen because you're not a stand-on man, are you? Because we've had this with you before. Did we or not bet you $3 million on national TV in front of the world's media? And what did you do? You welched. You didn't pay. You give us a middle finger. Like your other mate, KSI, he bet me £200,000 in front of the world's media. He never paid. So really, Jake, we can't take your word for nothing, can we? Because what you do, you tread where the grass is low, my old pal, saying that you may have offered $15 million, but you knew full well we can't get into the United States of America. And we did offer the boxing next door in Canada. Phone went quiet by you and your manager. But listen, mate, what you say I take with a pinch of salt, my friend, because I told you, put it all in writing, send it to our lawyer. Within 10 weeks, we can be there in the ring with you, anywhere in the world except America. And like I say, you say things you don't stand on, do you? 3 million quid? You know, we said, okay, we'll bet. Deal done. Shook hands with me in front of the world's media. You didn't pay, mate. So you offering this and offering that don't mean squat diddly, does it? You or your other mate. In my word, mate, I tell you the truth, mate. Back in the old days, my pal, you'd be called odd pig to a devil, a Welsher, not a man. Can't take your word for no, which you can't anyway. But that's all I'm going to say on it. You want to fight, put your $15 million in writing to our legal team. You can be in the ring with 8 weeks anywhere in the world. That's all I'm going to say to you, mate, except America. You got that loud and clear? But it has to be in writing from people.
The seriousness of the bout increases even further because this is a fully sanctioned professional fight. It permanently appears on both fighters' official records. For Joshua, a loss to Jake Paul would be considered one of the biggest upsets in modern boxing history and would overshadow everything he has achieved. Even a short moment of struggle could spark debates about his decline. For Jake, the fight is a pursuit of legitimacy, a chance to show that he belongs in the professional boxing world. Yet the greater pressure sits heavily on Joshua, who is expected to dominate flawlessly and cannot afford any risk.
This is going on people's records. AJ gotta take him serious because this isn't some exhibition. We're running out some judges to act like there's a decision and someone won. No, someone's gonna win, someone's gonna lose here. It's 8 rounds, 3-minute rounds. Again, heavyweight, pro bout, 10-ounce gloves. AJ talking about breaking internets over faces. I think he meant to say breaking his face on the internet. Who knows? Maybe you can do both in the big 2025. But then you have the weight limit, 245 pounds, and people are automatically going to go, oh, God, here's the thing. Oh, here's the thing in the contract. No, stop all that. And I'm going to go on a rant in a second for all the people that thought this was fake, for all the people that thought that Jake wouldn't do this, for all the people that thought he was scared. I'm going to go on that rant in a second. But, okay, yes, 245 is a weird number because Jake has already fought at heavyweight. He fought Mike Tyson at 220-something. But again, I understand it a little bit. We're on short notice here. You don't want to have a Tyson Fury type situation with AJ.
Analysts argue that the permanence of the outcome transforms the fight into something far more serious than a typical crossover event. With legacies, reputations, and long-term narratives at stake, every second of the fight carries weight. Because the fight is officially recognized, both fighters must approach it with complete seriousness, making this the highest-stakes influencer-related matchup ever attempted. What looks like entertainment on the surface is, underneath, a career-defining gamble.
Changed since this time period. But this was in 2017. AJ was the heavyweight world champion. Jake was on red carpets for Bizarre Barks on the Disney Channel, looking like every fuckboy that came out of the Vine era. This shouldn't be the reality that we're living in. Now, I've sat here and I've asked myself over and over and over, what's the upside for Jake here? What's the upside? Because he can make money with everybody, right? Jake can make money fighting Gervonta Davis. He can make money fighting freaking Ryan Borland and Andre Agassi. He can make money fighting Mike Tyson and Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. And I'm just asking myself, stop asking me 267 million. Okay, yeah. If that's a real number, there's no context there. I don't know if that's referring to something else, but if Jake is getting paid 260.
That wraps up today's breakdown. Stay tuned for more updates and analysis. Until next time.